Why isn't Washington, D.C. a state? Over 700,000 people live here, more than Wyoming or Vermont, yet they lack full voting representation in Congress. D.C. residents pay federal taxes, serve in the military, and contribute to the nation, but have no say in the laws that govern them. This wasn't an accident. The founders deliberately made D.C. a federal district, not a state, to keep the national government independent. In 1783, unpaid soldiers marched on Congress in Philadelphia. Pennsylvania refused to help, leaving Congress feeling powerless. That event convinced the founders the capital needed to be free from state influence. So, D.C. became a city at the heart of American democracy. But its own residents live in a democratic shadow. They're governed by laws they have no voting voice in creating. This paradox, taxation without representation, remains unresolved. To understand why, we have to look back to the founding compromises that shaped the nation. The founders feared any state hosting the capital could control or intimidate the federal government. Their solution, a neutral independent district. But as D.C. grew, so did the contradiction between American ideals and the reality for its residents. The story of D.C. is a story of power, principle, and the ongoing struggle for equality. The question remains, can a city at the center of democracy remain excluded from it? Let's see how this unique status came to be. The location of the capital was a fierce debate. North versus South, Hamilton versus Jefferson and Madison. The compromise. Hamilton got his debt plan and the South got the capital on the Potomac. Land from Maryland and Virginia became the new federal district. The Residence Act made D.C. a territory under exclusive congressional control. The founders saw D.C. as a small administrative center, not a city with a permanent population. President Washington chose the site. Pierre L'Enfant designed it. The idea, a capital belonging to all states, but none in particular. The district would be neutral ground, free from state interference. Residents were seen as temporary, serving the national government. The founders didn't imagine D.C. would become a vibrant city demanding equal rights. This oversight set the stage for future conflict. The seeds of today's debate were planted from the very beginning. The Constitution's District Clause gives Congress total authority over D.C., making it the only city where Congress acts as city council. D.C. has a mayor and council, but Congress can override any local law or budget. The founders wanted to protect federal independence, not local democracy. James Madison argued the government needed control over its own seat to avoid being insulted or interrupted. The rights of D.C. residents were a secondary concern. As D.C. grew, this arrangement became a glaring democratic deficit. Citizens here pay taxes but have no real voice in Congress. The contradiction at the heart of American democracy was built into the Constitution itself. As D.C. grew, so did demands for self-governance, especially during the Civil Rights era. The city's majority black population saw disenfranchisement as a civil rights issue. In 1961, the 23rd Amendment let D.C. vote for president, but not for Congress. The 1973 Home Rule Act allowed D.C. to elect a mayor and council, but Congress kept final authority. Taxation without representation is now on D.C. license plates, a daily protest. D.C. pays more federal taxes per capita than any state, yet has no senators and only a non-voting House delegate. On every major issue, D.C. residents are voiceless in Congress. The push for statehood is now a partisan battle. Supporters say it's about civil rights and democracy. Opponents call it a political power grab. The proposal, make most of D.C. a state, Washington-Douglas Commonwealth while keeping a small federal district. This would give D.C. full representation while preserving federal independence. The debate is about more than politics. It's about who counts as a full American citizen. The fight for D.C. statehood is a fight for equality at the heart of the nation. But the path forward is anything but simple. The D.C. statehood challenges America's founding ideals. Can 18th century compromises serve a 21st century democracy? For D.C. residents, this is personal. Congress can override their laws, control their budget, and even disrupt city services. Statehood bills pass the House but stall in the Senate, blocked by filibuster and partisan divides. The question, does we the people include the people of the capital? Can America champion democracy abroad while denying it at home? The reasons for D.C. quote, S status are historical, but are they still valid? The future of D.C. will test America's commitment to its own ideals. The answer will shape the nation's democracy for generations to come.